special event alert.
I've literally sat in front of the gate watching the other traffic go because the light wouldn't turn green for me on my motorcycle.
Which is excuse number 78 for being late for Changeover, your weekly space news and variety show. I'm your host, Marty Smith, and I'm joined by our man in the closet, Jake Wall.
It's good to see you guys. Good to see you guys.
Mr. History, Eric Perrott.
Ladies and gentlemen, spring has sprung, hence the shirt.
It is sprung in full bloom right
Sprung,
there.
baby.
Whoa.
All right.
Oh.
And our puzzle princess, Anna Mondragon.
Hello.
Yeah. Woo.
We're here to bring you the
represent.
latest headlines and updates pertinent to all Guardians and to the other lower branches as well. So take your seats, get informed, and have a laugh as we present Late for Changeover.
For all our audience, we do have merch.
We have merch.
Yeah. We got the Man in the Closet mugs, Puzzle Princess mugs. We've got Mr. History thongs, all in the link below.
Oh,
Yep.
God.
We'll even
Wow,
put
that-
late for changeover in the crotch area
Late.
for you.
Nothing's late here, baby.
Now, with the
Nothing.
size of Eric,
Only periods are late.
There's
with
no
the size of
over.
Eric, that thong has a lot of advertising space.
A
Ooh.
lot of advertisements.
Oh,
Sponsors the whole 9 yards, baby.
yeah. Sponsors.
It looks like a NASCAR with that much sponsors.
Anna's Huel shirt is the same as Eric's Huel thong.
Ooh.
It's that
Same
size
here.
logo.
Same print.
That will give you some kind of impression.
It's one
We
of
just
those
ripped off the bottom.
one fit for two people. That's all.
Ooh,
Nice.
a unithong. That almost sounds like a torture device. Really.
Yeah, it does.
No pulling out tonight.
We've
Only
gone
I'm
the
down,
wearing
cat
the
pulls
unithong.
we've gone down the hashtag environment. We're going down the hashtag
We're
environment.
going back. We're coming back up.
Hashtag. Eat
What are
my
we talking
hashtag.
about tonight?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Anna's being all prim and proper.
So professional.
Right. You can always take somebody serious when they do the international "I'm mocking you."
They're really slow.
I like it. I like it.
I love
Walking
people
away.
that wink and have to hold their mouth in a certain way.
And it's
know, it's
so over exaggerated. It's like 3-second wink in here.
Popeye.
Exactly. You are thinking about this way too hard.
That was loaded up. That was loaded up.
Yep.
All right. Well, then let's get to the news, shall we?
Hell yeah.
So, Butch and Sonny are back on Earth.
Welcome
Right.
back.
I
It
know.
isn't
Yay.
so.
They should have been released from the hospital. I don't know. Trump was talking about whenever they get out, they can come on back. I was reading an article about them too.
Can come over for Mickey
They
D.
can come on over. I was reading an article about them
Trump
that
said
one
that.
of the things of long space travel is they get taller. Like they stretch out, but then that goes away when gravity comes
No.
back and they go right
Elastic.
back to it. It's not like an accordion; they get shorter than they were before.
What is that called? That doll that you Stretch Armstrong?
Stretch arms.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're up in space and they're like, "Holy shit! Look at this! I got a couple inches."
I'm so
And you
massive.
come back and you're like, all that back pain comes back.
Yeah.
It's like,
The spine is like.
forgot about that. So, but they are back on Earth, and you know what? One of the things we often joked about was their TDY and their pay and their tax-free stuff, right?
We did.
Well, coincidentally, here's a story from FoxBusiness.com that will answer all our questions. So, for the rescued astronauts, how much will they get paid for their ordeal?
Ooh.
NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams arrived back on Earth on last Tuesday after living in space for 286 days.
Damn.
With Crew 9 back on Earth and new astronauts manning the ISS, questions about how much money NASA astronauts earn while on board the orbiting research station have arisen. We raised those questions.
Poised it right here on
about
Late for Changeover.
280 days ago. So, and
No.
whether Wilmore and Williams could have any extra pay coming their way,
It better be tax free.
given their extended stint in
Right.
space. A NASA spokesman told Fox Business when NASA astronauts are aboard the ISS, they receive regular 40-hour workweek salaries. They do not receive overtime or holiday weekend pay.
So it's just a straight 40-hour week.
That's it. That's it.
Well, it's like they're
Cheap
deployed.
bastards.
Is there
Yeah.
any like per diem or like tax
Wow.
free or anything?
Let me
And do
preface
they get
that.
hostile fire pay?
Ooh.
Like they're in a
Sure.
hostile environment.
Well,
Dude.
you got Russians right over there with their stinky capsule. That could be.
And if the boner fairy visits in the morning, headaches.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
hostile.
you got no
Yes,
you got no sleeping
extremely-
bag to crawl down into. You know what I mean?
Nothing.
NASA astronauts' salaries were over $152,000 last year. A NASA webpage indicated. The NASA spokesman said transportation, lodging, and meals are provided for NASA astronauts as they
Oh
are
my
on,
gosh.
quote, official travel orders as federal employees.
Okay, transportation, no shit.
Right? Right?
Look at
So
it.
you're
I'm
telling
gonna
me
take my Honda CRV. No.
I'm going to go buzz around the ISS for a little while. The spokesperson also said they are also on long-term TDY and receive the incidentals amount for each day they are in space. Eric, don't answer because you read the article. How much do
Laundry.
you think incidentals are for being in space?
50 grand.
You would think, right?
good
I'm
luck.
going $16.50 a day.
That's not bad. That'll get you a meal a day.
Yeah. Is that close?
$5 per day. $5
What?
per day.
It's like per diem in the desert.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you got to
yeah.
think about it. What are the incidentals?
It's
There are
irrelevant.
none. There
Yeah.
are none. So why would we pay you at more than $5?
Do they
an
have a
incidental?
drink card up there at the ISS?
Dude,
And they're like, punch. That's all you get.
what is the booze situation up there?
I don't know.
They can make, I'm sure they
Uh,
can make moonshine.
I mean,
I
it's
wonder if
not
you're
like,
a lightweight at that altitude.
well, you know, we
Yeah,
all
but-
know being from Colorado and you go down to sea level, you can drink like a fish, right?
all day
Yeah.
long.
But would it be different? It's like half a beer and you're like, whoa, oh, just no altitude.
Probably.
There's no gravity, right? No.
Just Velcro. I'm good. I'm good.
Well, the only way you're drinking is because
That would
your
be so
incidentals are
fun.
only $5.
Yeah,
That's
well,
it.
that's true, right?
I'm
Right.
gonna drink.
Maybe you got to
money
have
for
the
incidentals.
maybe you got to get the Russian vodka because it's probably
That's what
duty
I'm
free
saying.
up there. It's
Like,
duty
there's
free.
no way the Russians aren't drinking that.
Oh,
whole
yeah.
time.
They put it in their rations, man.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys take a little snort every lunchtime. Incidental expenses for travel to any location is currently $5 per day. That incidentals rate would presumably equate to $1,430 for Wilmore and Williams.
They're
Is that
doing it
lump-
for the experience.
Is that lump sum? They're like, hey, let me stroke you this $1,400 check, huh? Not
Don't you
bad.
think there would be some type of incentive though to go there to take those risks that you do?
Well,
Other
I don't
than
think
your
there's a
It's
bunch
their
of-
experience.
I don't think
Of
there's a
being
bunch
in
of
space.
like astronauts hanging out and they're like, hey, anybody want to go up for $5 a day? And I'm like,
Right.
fine.
no,
I'll
I
go.
get that, but I'm talking about it's not like flying to the desert either. At any moment,
Right, true.
you could run into an emergency and die in space. So a
Yeah,
little more
don't
hostile environment for sure.
expect to get paid for that.
Nah, apparently not.
Especially if you're over 40 hours. They're like, hey,
Mhm.
you fight the war on your own time, buddy.
Oh man,
So can they claim disability like through the VA? I
Oh.
mean,
They would have to get
I
it
mean, there's a
documented.
lot of there's some
right?
that are active duty.
Yeah,
Like, does,
true.
oh, okay. Yeah, you're right.
And to come back and they're like, hey, I got stretched while I was up in space. And I came back and I compressed and now I really hurt.
Well, you'd be like,
10%.
You ever heard of the Van Allen radiation belt?
And they're like, prove it.
Radiated.
Maybe if you'd have gotten some flight doc notes up there, maybe if you got examined while you were up at the ISS, we could honor that. But since you don't have any appointments,
you don't have any proof of having
we don't have
problems.
anything to show you, so I'm sorry.
You think the
Work-related issues.
Yeah.
But there is an update from Fox Business, which came out a couple days ago. So Trump suggests he'll pay overtime for formerly stranded astronauts out of his own pocket. I don't know how they calculate that. He didn't talk about that. I'm sure he could afford it. But
his is $4 per diem. We go down for $4.
President Donald Trump on Friday said he would pay the overtime for astronauts Butch and Sonny, who returned to Earth this week after spending 9 months in space. Trump was asked about the calculated overtime while speaking with reporters in the Oval Office, and Trump said, quote, "Nobody's ever mentioned this to me. If I have to, I'll pay it out of my own pocket," Trump said in response to Fox News' Peter Ducey's question. And when he was told the amount, Trump said, "Is that all? That's not a lot for what they had to go through."
No, it's not. Go figure.
I love the way he talks. He's so like, yeah, it's not a lot for what they had to go through. So.
They get paid that much?
$5? That's it? Yeah. I could do that.
So you figure
I have that in my shoe.
150 grand, right, for a year, or is that strictly the amount of time they were in
I
space?
think that's their yearly salary. 150.
Okay. So 150, you're 280 days in space and you make $1,400 incidental.
It's almost like, just keep the check. I
can't even buy more Velcro with that shit.
How do you do that with a straight face and go, here's your per diem?
Oh, man.
Just think, they spent nothing and they got magically $1,400.
Here's what's funny.
Thank you for your service.
Is I bet you they had to file an interim travel voucher.
Oh, if Anna was sitting behind the desk.
Bank of America GTC.
Yeah,
exactly.
With Anna behind the desk running arrows, she'd be like, "These guys are delinquent. They're overdue.
Get them out of here.
Haven't filed anything
until I get an interim. No pay."
So I thought that was a little entertaining, and as ridiculous as that sounds, I read 3 different articles. Now a lot of them were the same, but there's nobody disputing that NASA is just another arm of the military paying cheap to some of the highest skilled people we've got.
Now here's the question: what does Elon Musk pay his astronauts? Not associated with NASA.
I bet you it's the same.
You think?
Like it's probably got to be the same.
Well, that's true. But if they are SpaceX astronauts, that's one thing. But if they're astronauts sponsored by NASA,
that's exactly it. And they all have to be blessed by NASA.
Yeah. Right. I mean, there's got to be that room of waiting astronauts are like NASA, and they're like SpaceX. They've got to separate, right? And they're like, fuck, those guys get paid bank. We're getting $5 a day, man.
NASA, I quit. I'm out of here. I quit.
We're getting $5 a day, and we might get stuck up there for 9 months.
What a deal!
Do you think that was actually in their minds when they were like,
9 days?
I bet when they're like, okay, you are an astronaut, right? And they're like, you can take this door for NASA, or you can take this door for SpaceX. And they're like, I think I'm going that way.
What a huge resume!
Or this door, but it's already opened. It's for Boeing.
And I'm like, oh, there's nobody in there, and they're like, that's right.
You're right. What'd you say, Anna?
I said, what a huge resume builder.
Ooh.
That they got stuck in space.
Maybe all the ex-NASA guys are going over to SpaceX.
It wouldn't surprise me.
No,
I'm sure some of the minds from NASA said, screw this.
Right.
I want to go work for someone who cares about what I do.
Yeah.
That,
I mean, every astronaut now I see is wearing the SpaceX suit.
Yep.
Right? I don't see a whole
they
lot
have
of.
to. We don't have
the
any other
NASA
option.
There's
NASA's
no
like,
other.
There's no other people taking us up there.
they fired all our suit makers as,
Yep.
Well,
as
I
not
mean, what?
necessary. So
Boeing was the only other alternative.
yeah, right.
That's it.
Right.
Bad alternative. Yep.
So interesting. So enjoy that $1,400. Don't go put a down payment on anything, you guys. You know.
Butch is buying his wife a new fucking ring for that. He's like 9 days my ass, Butch.
It's like, look, she was the only one I had to look at. I didn't want to look at her, but I had to look at her every day. All right. It's like,
You know what you said? You've got $1,400. I want something for $1,400.
Yeah.
You don't need it.
You're cashing that check straight to me.
That's right. That's my per diem for you being gone.
And I don't want to see some Costco value bullshit. I don't want to
Maybe
pay full price.
Maybe he goes, look, for mowing the yard, I charge $5 a day. Here you go. Thank you, honey.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I know we don't do a lot of technical stuff because we're just scratching the surface, guys, right?
Wait, are we going technical?
Yes, we are.
But we're going technical on this story, baby, because this was really crazy interesting to me. So from space.com, the Starcatcher, all right, Starcatcher sends electricity across an NFL football field in key space power beaming test.
Ooh,
I don't even know what the hell that is.
I know, I
Yeah.
didn't either. But you
That's
will after
freaking
this.
cool.
All right. You will after this segment. Starcatcher has completed a successful ground demonstration of its wireless energy beaming technology. It's a major milestone in the development of orbital systems capable of collecting energy from the sun and wirelessly transferring it to ground or space-based receivers as usable electricity. It's like, whoa.
That's
what?
pretty cool.
Starcatcher co-founder and CEO Andrew Rush said in a statement on Friday, this demonstration marks the first end-to-end test of our space power beaming technology, proving we can collect and wirelessly transmit energy with the precision needed for space applications.
Wow.
How is that even possible?
I don't know, but it's really cool. In fact, here, I will show you what you can't really quite tell what part of this is, but that's Starcatcher. All right. And they were in the Jacksonville Jaguars Stadium down in Florida. And this thing was beaming energy 100 yards away to these catchers. So they were catching that energy and somehow turning it into electricity. All right. So
Four to beam up. 4 to beam up.
Yeah, kind of.
Right.
We're inching towards that.
Yeah, man.
So
we're sending energy.
Just to give you a perspective of what they're talking about. Starcatcher's test took place last Friday at Everbank Stadium, home of the NFL's Jacksonville Jaguars. There, the company used this proprietary system to collect and transmit solar power across the full 300-foot length of the American football field. The electricity was beamed to multiple solar arrays built using already available components to ensure backward compatibility with existing satellite power systems. Starcatcher aims to eventually operate a constellation of satellites in low Earth orbit that are capable of providing a continuous supply of power to ground receivers, satellites, spacecraft, and even space stations. With the Everbank test deemed a success, the company has begun preparing a much larger scale demonstration for this summer. Wow. This summer's demonstration, they will use the launch and landing facility at NASA's Kennedy Space Center to beam hundreds of watts of electricity over nearly a mile. The test will simultaneously power several mock satellites. So after they do that test, if it's successful, Starcatcher hopes to begin launching its Starcatcher network of energy beaming satellites to LEO as early as the end of this year.
So I put a Starcatcher in my front yard and have it beam all the energy in so I can get rid of freaking my electric bill.
Yeah. You can
Hell
do
yeah.
that,
Yeah, but
and
then you gotta
then
pay.
you can use Starlink, and
Juice
you'll
my
be all
house.
self-sufficient.
Yeah.
So,
Come on.
but can't you see, as cool as this technology is, once they get it successful, they're like, well, we could just take that energy beam and just like go through Tehran.
Yeah. Lightning bolt the piss out of somebody.
Yeah. Thor is on scene.
Exactly.
Now, do
Gotta
you guys
fund
want to
that.
get real technical instruction on this? I have a video if you
Hell
want to see
yeah.
how they're doing this. Okay, so this is the concept that they're going for. It's kind of like you're in class, but it makes sense.
The fundamental concept of wireless power transfer relies on a physical phenomenon, which is known as interference.
Don't worry,
all
it's
of
only
us
a
have
couple
probably
minutes.
experienced. If you go sit next to a pond and put both of your hands down into the water and make waves at the same time, what you will probably notice is that there are areas where the waves are much stronger, and there are some areas where very little waves. In those areas where you have stronger waves, those waves are adding in phase, so they're going together. And in those areas where there are very little waves, you have out of phase addition, which basically means that they're canceling each other. The red and blue are basically crests and valleys of the wave. So you see in the middle, for example, this is where the wave is strong. You see these little troughs where it's like light blue?
I do.
It's basically they're canceling each other at that point.
We do.
Each one of these sources would be transmitting energy in all directions. But when they are all working together, you don't lose any energy. All of that energy gets concentrated in that direction and nowhere else.
Now watch.
Now, this concept can be generalized if you have multiple sources that are operating in concert. If
now
they
we're
all go
talking.
at the same time, in other words, in the same phase, you can actually direct energy in one direction. So all of them will only add in one direction and will cancel each other out in all other directions.
I'll be
The
damned.
beauty of this concept is that if you have each source going slightly earlier or later than the other ones, you can control the direction this energy goes.
Steerable.
You can go even beyond that. The same way that a magnifying glass can focus light into a small point, you can actually control the timing of these in such a way that you can focus all of that energy in a smaller area than the area that you started with. If you have a large number of sources that are coherent, they are like all going at the same frequency, you can create these focal points and move where the constructive interference happens, which is that focal point, by controlling the timing of them. This ability to control directions by controlling timing is very critical because it means that there's no mechanically moving parts. And hence it can be done on a time scale of electronics, on the nanosecond scale. This allows you to control the direction of the energy very rapidly and even allocate it in different locations.
Wow.
Pretty
The
cool.
possibilities of this is amazing. Think about what we could do with the ability
Oh.
to spend energy. I mean,
To
Come
turn
on.
it into electricity, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah.
then of course if you weaponize the thing, who knows what else you could
That's
do
what
there.
we're waiting. That's what we're waiting
Right?
on.
Yeah. Man, that's amazing. That's pretty damn amazing.
That's really
That's
cool. So I thought you guys would enjoy that. I enjoyed that, and it was
That's
simple
pretty
enough that I
cool.
was like, "Hey, I understand that."
But to be able to direct it any direction, low,
And
high,
it's
turn
really
it.
should be if they are successful this summer, that really should be like a #1 story, man. These
Oh,
guys
yeah,
be
man.
right
big.
to the top of the energy market.
That's big.
You know?
Yeah. Big.
So-
cool.
Yeah, but it could change the way we do things. Like imagine his network of satellites up there. And it's like, what? Well, we need a little boost. So let's fly over, get a little charge up, and then off we go.
That's amazing, man. I'm telling you. That's got
Or to
so many
beam it to
possibilities.
the ground. That's the intriguing part. So
Yeah.
that's the weaponization part.
Bouncing it off a satellite somewhere and hitting it.
Oh yeah, just like
Yeah.
spies like us when
Hmm.
they missed.
There you go.
Maybe we should watch that for our next movie reaction. That would be worth it. You ever see
Spies
Spies
Are
Like
Us?
Us, Anna?
I think so. It's a 1980s movie or a 90s movie,
Yeah,
isn't
it
it?
was. Yeah,
With Dan
it was.
Aykroyd. Does that have Dan Aykroyd?
Dan
Aykroyd.
Aykroyd and Chevy
Yeah.
Chase. Yeah.
Boom.
Okay, so way to hang in there for a technical story.
Jake, we can't hear you, buddy.
That testing scene is by far like the funniest.
The
part.
whole montage.
Yeah, that whole thing where he's like, He's got an eye patch and a fake arm. He's like,
Oh yeah. Oh, not the montage. The one where they're taking the test. The
where
astronaut
he's
test or whatever.
taking the
Yeah.
test.
Yeah.
He's like, and then he fills up out and he's like,
It's like heart attack.
oh, oh. He's grabbing everybody else's chest. He's bringing down like circle and shit.
Oh yeah.
That was damn funny.
Stand
Maybe
back.
that should be our next movie that we watch.
Oh,
that
yeah.
would be a blast. That would be fun.
For sure.
Plus, Aykroyd's wife is in it, and as I recall,
Oh,
she is
Donna Dixon.
quite
Yeah,
the
she
looker,
was-
man.
She was so
Uh-huh.
hot. Yeah,
Yeah.
she was hot in Dr. Detroit, baby.
Yep.
Okay. Now that we have been bagging on Boeing for Starliner, right?
More than
no,
that.
not-
For
Yeah,
almost
not
a year.
just Starliner.
Not just
Yeah,
Starliner.
For
many
a
other
lot.
gouging the
yeah.
federal government for the F-35,
Yeah,
for
true,
having an
true.
inability to freaking build any plane with a door that stays on
Or a wheel.
or a wheel,
Yeah.
And
for
there's
having a spacecraft that can't fucking produce.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
And they were like, eh.
And not only that, Air Force One.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Good one, Anna. I forgot
Yeah.
about
Yeah,
Boeing
yeah.
and Air Force One.
Freaking
I'm still
terrible,
pissed at
man.
them for that. Well, I mean, we did that one story where they were considering getting out of the space business. And maybe the next story is why they're getting out of the space business. So, from stripes.com, Boeing is awarded $20 billion to build the next American fighter jet, the F-47.
It's going to be called the Jakester.
It's going to be called Jake's Wrap. That's what it's going to be
Disappointing.
called. In what respect? Because we invested all that into the F-22 and the F-35?
Yeah, and got gouged on both of them.
Billion-dollar airplanes, man.
I think the F-22, from what I've read, is that if they hadn't have stopped it, it would have been fine. But now that they've stopped production on the F-22
Oh, yeah.
in pursuit of the crazily overpriced F-35, which the maintenance tail on that plane is just, whoever greenlit that is like, well, I guess we're down this road. We got to approve the maintenance tail or maintenance train. And that is skyrockets. So, but
Well,
now
you
they
know,
come
it's
out-
almost like the Apache, because when the Apache deploys, you've got to take a whole squadron of
Yeah.
maintenance guys
yeah, right.
to take
point.
care of that plane. And
Sure.
the F-35 and the F-22s are the same way. So you're freaking not just cost for the bird, but for the
Right.
people supporting the bird.
Which you go back to the A-10, you needed like Jake in a toolbox and he could fix most of the shit that was going on there.
Yeah, but we ran out of parts. That's the problem.
Hey, you can
Right?
modify some off that Humvee over there, though. Off the Marine
Probably,
Humvee, we'll
like
take
those
some shit
guys.
off of
Those
that.
guys could.
Well, Boeing will build the next generation U.S. fighter jet. President Donald Trump announced last Friday from the Oval Office. The aerospace giant was awarded an estimated $20 billion initial contract to build the Pentagon's sixth generation fighter jet, a replacement for the short-lived F-22 Raptor stealth fighter program,
I
which
don't
was
get it.
built
Who made
by
that?
Boeing competitor Lockheed.
I
Oh,
don't get it.
Like I said, from what I understand, it's because they shut down the production of the F-22 and it would be too expensive to restart, or there's enough lobbyists is like, F-22 is Lockheed, we could do better, right? Who builds the
And so
damn
you're going to go with
F-35?
Boeing? You're
Well-
going to go with Boeing? Come on.
What day did he announce this? Last week?
I think last Friday, yeah.
Yeah. You want to know what their stock prices went from? 160
Oh.
to one. They jumped $10, well, $11 in one
less
day.
than a week. Oh,
In one day
Oh,
after the
Dang.
announcement, and then now it's at 183. So it's gone.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's gone up $22.
God damn, that's a lot of profit for
I
somebody.
wonder which politicians have invested in that 2 weeks ago.
Well, that's why I wonder who makes the F-35. Is it
Lockheed
Lockheed
Martin.
too?
Lockheed
So
Martin.
Lockheed had the F-22 and the F-35.
Okay, well,
Mm.
we inadvertently trash talked Boeing, so for that.
Well,
But you know
well-
what? You can't say the F-35, the F-22 wasn't a successful bird. Both of them have shown
I
it's
agree.
just the
I agree.
cost
Right.
that are
I agree.
outrageous.
Yeah.
They've earned their name. man.
But who knows what the cost is going to be with this damn thing?
No, you're right there.
So
Is it open
Trump
windows?
announced-
Gen 6.
Oh,
Gen
go ahead.
6, man.
yeah. Trump announced a new aircraft will be called the F-47. Now, I did search. Why did they try to call this the F-47? All right. F-22, F-35, F.
Why'd you freeze?
Oh, that's a horrible freeze bug. It's so angry freezing. This is the only time we can get a word in. Oh,
That's a great face. That's a great face.
Sorry. My network sucks. So it just
Yeah.
went out. I guess you all saw that. So.
That's you.
You had quite the face going on.
Oh,
we
shit.
can't see it at all.
Oh,
Send me that picture. I'll put it up.
I
Yeah.
will.
Shit. Okay.
So 47. Why?
Why is it called the F-47? Could it be anything why they called it the F-47?
The 47th president?
Yep. Guaranteed.
If that's it, is that it?
No.
Oh,
Well, I don't know what you said. My network went out again. Sorry.
no. I said the 47th president.
That's
It's
what I
gotta be.
think it is. It's
Yeah.
the 47th president. He's like, fucking F-47, baby. Why not? I don't know where
Why not?
F-22 came from. I mean, there wasn't an F-21. There wasn't an F-20. You know, I don't know why they went from 22 to 35.
Yeah.
Why
I
the
don't know.
F-35? I don't know.
I wonder those
Why
were the
not?
ditched prototypes.
That's pretty badass. I mean, if you're going to, like, hey, here's my new fighter plane, the F-47. So, the aircraft
Trump
has been
fighter.
the Trump fighter.
Trump
The,
fighter.
the aircraft has been in development since 2018 under the Air Force's Next Generation Air Dominance program. The manned jet is expected to feature advanced stealth and artificial intelligence capabilities and work together with paired drones capable of penetrating air defense systems undetected. Now, this is fascinating.
So cool.
Trump said prototypes of the future aircraft have been secretly flying in recent years. The United States hopes the F-47 will be the sixth generation fighter aircraft to enter military fleets, as China has reportedly been flying prototype versions of its next-gen stealth fighters.
You
Trump
mean
and
to
the
tell
other
me we didn't
officials-
send that to that news reporter via signal?
Well, he probably got the specs on it. You know, he just didn't say anything about that.
I thought
Yup.
we'll talk about it a little bit on signal.
Trump and the other officials declined to say precisely how much the F-47 program was expected to cost American taxpayers, or when the first F-47s might arrive to the fleet. Do you want to see a quick little ditty on the F-47?
The Trump
Yes.
fighter.
The
Does it have a Trump-
It is.
Face on the side of it.
I'm sure it
Oh,
does.
man.
Not yet.
Just his comb
Is it-
over.
Not yet.
The
Is it
cockpit
painted
looks
orange?
like his comb over.
Is it painted
Not the-
orange?
The part
Not the
on the side of his
Colorado.
face, it's on the side of it is his face, and his hair just flows
Yeah.
to the tail.
All right, now let's take a look at the F-47 itself.
Oh.
Looks
The
like
F-47
it's
All
jet
artist
isn't just
rendering.
another
It's all
fighter
artist
jet.
rendering.
It's actually the centerpiece of a revolution in aerial combat.
Ooh.
Remember, the whole point of the NGAD is to be a system of
They
systems.
pulled that shit off.
The
Stealth
F-47
fighter.
is just the
Yeah.
center point of that whole warfighting ecosystem. Designed from the ground up to replace the legendary F-22 Raptor, the F-47 is built specifically
Oh,
to meet the
missile
challenges
there?
of today's
On
battlefield.
top?
What does
Bunch
that
of
mean?
missiles under
Well, while the Raptor was envisioned during the Cold War and was tailored for relatively short-range combat over Europe, the F-47 is basically designed with one mission in mind:
The Pacific.
dominating the vast expanses of the Pacific Theater, where distances can be measured in thousands of miles, not hundreds. One of the most game-changing aspects of the F-47 is its perhaps unique ability to fly both manned and unmanned missions. Just like its stealthy cousin, the B-21 Raider, the F-47 can seamlessly shift between having a pilot in the cockpit or operating autonomously. This built-in flexibility will dramatically lower the risks that pilots can face in dangerous combat situations, while still enabling the option to have human pilots fly or take the controls when the mission demands it. Now, getting
Oh.
back to that system of systems, the F-47 doesn't fight alone. Instead, it serves as the central hub, the quarterback of an
This
entire
is
fleet
scary.
of collaborative combat
man.
aircraft, or
Yeah.
CCAs.
Ooh.
These advanced drone wingmen significantly expand the fighter's reach and capabilities. These large drones can carry out high-risk tasks like electronic warfare,
Look at that.
recon, and
One
even
plane,
precision
you got
attacks.
three
All while
you
the
gotta
F-47
face.
oversees operations from a safer distance. This isn't just about technology, it's about rewriting the rules of aerial warfare.
Yes.
Now let's face it, over the past few years, we've seen what drones can do. And for the most part, those were small, off-the-shelf drones adapted to fight. Imagine what fighter-sized drones designed for combat can do. Then imagine dozens of them
Look at
being
that.
controlled by a single F-47.
Dude,
Can
it's
you see where
stealth
this is
fighter all
going?
over again.
Yeah.
A single F-47 and a drone swarm could ruin an enemy air force's day.
Wow.
They could come up with something better than that. Like, oh, I just ruined your day.
Oh, you
But-
got me so good.
But if you can imagine, even with like two wingmen, an enemy is like, oh, and you
Yeah.
send those drones out and you fire at one of them, well, now I got you. Right. I
Yeah.
know
Well-
exactly where you are and, whatever.
We've done those articles where the AI in
Mhm.
the F-16 and in the F-15 was beating all the regular
Right.
Air Force
Pilots. Yeah.
pilots and dogfights.
Yep.
So I can't imagine something as special built like
To,
that.
to
would be-
intentionally do this? Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So I don't know if like one plane means three. So if you got a squadron of 20, you got, you actually got 60
Three.
motherfuckers you got to take down.
So,
So-
do you believe we'll see that airplane in our lifetime? Do you really believe that?
Oh yeah, I think so.
Do you?
Yeah, I think so.
Man, I don't know, man.
They've already
I think
flown
they're already
it,
pushing
right?
for
It's- Now, whether
Just
or
the
not
capabilities, though, is what I'm thinking. It's like,
Well, right.
Man.
Whether they'll have its drone companions, will it be full
Yeah.
capable? I don't know. Yeah, I mean they
and the
started.
maintenance cost of that. Keep that thing running.
Don't rain on the parade, Eric. We know it's going to be through the roof.
Don't bring up fiscal responsibility,
Oh.
Eric.
Oh, I
Ew.
But
forgot.
we're gonna take the $100 million we saved in West Africa,
Ah, good point.
and
Yeah.
we're
Good
just
point.
gonna go. "Brr, brr." There you go,
You-
Boeing.
Ukraine.
Yeah.
Well, that
great.
too. It's just going to Boeing, and Boeing's like, "Hey, we are already getting our money from your Ukraine stuff, so thanks for this. I appreciate it." So when they're getting laughed down at the soda shop, and they're like, "Aha, Boeing, you screwed up Starliner," and they're like, "Don't worry about it. We got you.
Don't you worry
We
about
got you."
Easter's coming early, baby.
this. Easter's.
Easter's coming
Yeah,
early.
it is. Yeah, it is.
Good.
Okay, last story, Eric. This is all for you because I want to get your take on it.
I like it.
All right.
Oh.
So, from Task and Purpose, the Army wants to make it easier to call Lyft and Uber while you're on base.
That's
Okay.
fantastic. That's a
Yeah.
great
well,
idea.
Now, let
Eric
me.
fucking hates that. Eric,
I
ew.
probably does,
Why would
but
you
l-
want a ride somewhere?
He'll tell
Just
us in a
walk.
second. But I do remember the day
DW,
of,
DUI.
of getting of being on base, and the taxi's like, I can't get on base, and they drops you at the front gate. And you're like,
Yep.
motherfucker,
Yeah.
I gotta walk clear across to my billet. And I'm like, God, that sucks. So
It's cold. It's
it's
raining.
yeah, you're drunk. You're just like, oh, it's a long walk, man.
You
But
people do
you
know
know
what
you-
choices are, right? You do know what a choice is.
Here it comes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're
Here comes-
talking. What happens to that floozy you picked up at the local bar?
Ah, good point.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Floozy's
She's
not
not,
gonna
going to
wanna walk.
freaking walk 2 miles.
I go to her place.
No, everybody's going to be dehydrated. And then it's
All right,
all-
Officer Perrott, stand by.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Army is launching a pilot program to standardize procedures and requirements for using ride-sharing companies like Lyft and Uber on 6 major bases, an Army news release says. Army Secretary Daniel Driscoll said in a news release on Monday, this program demonstrates our commitment to addressing the challenges faced by our military communities. Through collaboration with the rideshare industry, we're able to provide our soldiers and their families with safe, reliable, and convenient transportation
Oh,
options
and their families.
that support their unique needs and enhance their overall quality of life. Not to mention all our E3s and below who are getting drunk off base and need to get back home.
Yes.
Acco-
With their drunk
accor-
floozies.
Floozies.
This is where this came from, according to an Army spokesman, Colonel Dave Butler. After Secretary Daniel Driscoll, the guy we were just talking about, after he took an Uber to Fort Myer, Virginia, this winter, and he had to be dropped off at the front gate. That led to his idea of making rideshare services more accessible on base.
Aw, I bet
Now
you some
you-
airman has been complaining about this and nobody
I
listened
bet
to him.
he was
Daniel Driscoll.
he was bitching up a storm because he got dropped at the front gate.
Mhm.
He's like, "This is bullshit," as he's
let
walking
me-
to his
Let me remind you people,
VIP BOQ. You know,
back in the day,
There we go.
when you have a transportation squadron who have a fleet of vans
Yeah.
that can run a shuttle
Yeah.
from the gate to the dorm, to the chow hall, to the flight line, wherever the hell you want.
Yep.
What's the big freaking deal?
That
because the
doesn't
shuttle
exist anymore.
left 15 minutes ago, and I'm like, God
No,
damn.
no. Those base shuttles don't exist anymore.
I know. That's my point. Bring that shit back. Keep the
Oh, I-
Ubers and stuff. Because what's going to
Okay.
happen on a
Right.
personal
Fully
level,
agree.
I don't really give a shit whether they come in or not on a personal level. On a cop level, what's going to happen is you're going to start having every gate guard looking at these guys as criminals, and it's going to cause a problem because they're going to want to
Yep.
search vehicles. They're
Yeah.
they're going to want to find things with these guys. Yeah, it's
And
I
guaranteed
don't
an Uber, let's pretend like a Uber picks you up downtown
Right.
and takes you to Fort Carson.
Right.
Weed's legal here in Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fully
all in the
legal.
vehicle, all in the
Yeah.
vehicle.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not smoking and driving, but maybe I just was out
Have it
driving
in
and
my
I was like,
car.
oh, I'll pick up my shipment or my supply for today.
Right. Or maybe
He
the
pulls up to
passenger
the window
who just left.
and,
And
smells
now-
that shit.
It's all
I need
on
you to
me.
step out of the car, please.
Oh yeah. That's
This is
that's
terrible idea.
that's Sergeant Perrott right there. He's like, I don't care if we get an agreement or not. Get out.
Yeah. And
But-
oh, by the way, call your fare. Tell his ass to walk because he ain't
Yeah.
coming.
Ah,
But
he
just
is.
in the last 3 years, they've been just news articles. There's 5 people that have died from DUIs just on Fort Carson.
Oh.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something's got to be done, then, right?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Right?
So
I mean,
I still don't
Fort
understand
Carson
why we got
switched
rid
to
of
You know
it.
what would be better
Yeah.
than the shuttle? Bring back the E Club. Because I don't need to go off base. I just go right there. Right?
Yeah, that's never coming back.
have
Well,
you
I know
seen
that. Neither is a
Have you
shuttle,
gone
but
on
I'm
base
just saying.
lately? Like
Uh,
even the
well-
commissary and the BX, it just feels
It's
like it's
sad.
on the verge of
Yeah.
shutting down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Like at any moment. Like,
Yeah, there's not a lot of effort there
there's
either.
nothing.
by the employees.
No.
Yeah.
Like
All right.
and it's sad because we've all seen the good side of it.
well,
we've
that
all
used
seen
to
the
be
clubs
the
that were
benefits.
great.
You got discounted prices at the commissary. You got discounted gas prices.
Yeah.
You had everything you needed to do as a 19, 20,
Right on
21-year-old right on base, you know.
Yep.
Yep.
And if somebody give me a ride to the gate because my cab is picking me up, then that's cool. And you
Yeah.
go from there. Or we could just go to the bowling alley and for about $10,
I
we could
love
drink
the
all
bowling
night
alley.
long. I mean, quarter
Cheeseburgers.
pitchers, fucking it was
Those
great.
days are
Oh,
gone too.
yeah, dude.
That was awesome.
Pitchers of beer, like pitchers
Ah,
and pitchers
easy.
of beer.
And burgers
Okay.
were cheap, and
Yep.
you
Yeah.
could
So
live a life.
fun.
You could live a life for $5 a day.
No
And
doubt
then
about it.
Yeah,
You walk,
Walk
back.
to
and
the
you walked
dorm.
right back, and no
Yep.
cops would hassle you.
All
Like,
set.
I'm glad you're not driving. As you're
In
leaving.
Charleston, the bowling alley was right across the freaking street from the damn
Brilliant.
cop squadron.
Yeah,
So
brilliant.
after every freaking shift, bowling
Right.
alley,
Right.
breakfast, beer, whatever.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah.
Yep.
And you weren't in danger. You weren't driving.
Yep.
You know,
Nope.
like you said.
And now the chow hall, even just on Pete, is the only example I know. The chow hall's barely open. as far as
Yeah.
hours wise.
Right.
And then there used to be 2 sides, a main course and then the burgers and all that.
Yeah.
There's
and,
only
grill.
one side now. Yep. Only one side.
Really?
There's no salad bar. There's none of that going on anymore. The McDonald's even shut down. Like they can't barely keep.
Really?
Yeah, they can't
Wow, I
keep.
didn't know that.
And they can't keep hardly anybody, in the food court on the BX even.
I did
Like
notice
there's
even
almost
in the,
always an empty spot in there.
even in the Buckley food court, there's no more Robin Hood. And I was like, not that I was a big proponent of Robin Hood,
Robin Hood. I
but
forgot
Robin
about that.
Hood was around for so
I
damn
forgot
long.
about Robin Hood.
That's the
Sam-
only place it was is on base.
Was on base.
It's
Yeah,
Anthony's
yeah.
Pizza. Robin Hood and Anthony's
Robin
Pizza.
Hood. Right. Okay, the 2-month pilot program will take place at Fort Bliss, Texas, Fort Bragg, North Carolina, Joint Base Lewis McChord, Washington, Schofield Barracks, Fort Shafter, and Tripler in Hawaii. Currently, ride-sharing drivers need to get a visitor's pass to get access to all posts, according to the Army. That means every time they want to pick up a soldier or family member on base, it must go through a lengthy process at the base visitor center. What happens when the VCC is closed? I guess they ain't
Put 'em
getting
in
on
the
base.
trunk.
Mm-mm. It's just not going to work very well, fellas and
They
gals.
still got to get on base. Is what my point is. I
Oh, my-
follow
I-
your
I-
logic there, but they still got to get on base.
Never mind.
That's the floozy in the back of the day talking. Remember, like how
Yes,
many
it is.
floozies did we smuggle in the trunk of a car because they didn't have a visitor pass?
No, it was
Sure,
me and Johnny. That's it. Just us.
Nobody else.
Why is that Uber riding like this?
It's a bunch of giggles coming from the trunk.
You're not going to be able to vet those guys. It's going to be a problem, man.
Well,
Eric, do you
they
remember
say
that,
you
though?
will, right? They
I
say
do.
you will. The pilot program will attempt to streamline the process for the 6 bases taking part. Ride-sharing drivers will undergo identity proofing and vetting through the FBI's National Crime Information Center and Terrorist Screening Database, the Army said.
Oh, but that's not going to take long at all.
No, right.
You can't even get guys who are like gonna shoot up a bar or something and like buy a
Thank you.
freaking AK-47.
Is
Come
there a
on.
way to flag them as like, okay, this guy's been screened on to go on base? Like,
Sure, right.
On
right.
the
This
Uber
guy's
app,
been
you're like
rejected.
on base access. You're like,
No, it'll go
That's
back
a
to the
good
old
point.
2220.
Yeah,
They'll put a
that's a good point.
sticker on their windshield.
Oh shit! Yeah,
Dude,
right, right.
all the guys here, we could make a killing for Ubering on Fort Carson just
yeah.
on base. That's
Yeah,
Ooh, baby.
that's true.
Yeah.
Those guys are desperate for it. They're desperate
Yeah.
for it. Over time, when soldiers and family members on the 6 bases call for an Uber, their requests will be sent to drivers who have been cleared to get on base. So Uber said, okay, you got to have some tick next to your name. Otherwise, we're not going to send this out to you. All right,
That's cool.
makes sense.
So is there going to be an EAL, an entry authority list with their names on it?
That's
at
a
the gate?
lot of
On the
clipboards
DAL.
those guys are going to have to carry around, man.
I do love a good clipboard.
Yeah, a 19-year-old at 9 o'clock at night checking that
Yeah.
list. Fort Carson, which is not part of the pilot program, has already taken steps to make it easier for soldiers and their families to use ride-sharing companies. Since June 2023, Fort Carson has partnered with local ride-sharing companies to provide transportation services to, from, and around posts, as well as food delivery services for soldiers and their families. Over 800 rideshare drivers have been vetted through the program. Upon verification, authorized drivers receive rideshare and delivery passes that remain valid for up to 1 calendar year, enabling access through Fort Carson access control points. So Fort Carson's already been doing it for a couple of years. But it
Nice.
does seem fraught with a big risk, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot more work for already undermanned security forces. That's why every time I go through, it's augmented.
Yep.
I went through the gate at Buckley just yesterday, and I finally got my ID checked by a beret wearer.
Oh, very nice.
Everybody
Nice.
else is like augmentation or
So let me ask you
rent-a-coms,
something.
right?
Think about this for a minute. Playing devil's advocate, you've got a sleeper cell here in Colorado that says,
That's you, Jake.
How-
Sleeper cell.
sleeper cell. How can I get an individual on the base?
Well,
Oh, I can become an Uber driver as long as I can get him cleared. Next thing you know, I've got an explosive vehicle cruising down towards whatever target.
you know, and
Factual.
okay, I'm going to counter you. Let's do this. I'm going to
Wait.
counter you. Not that I
Risky.
believe my counter, but I'm going to counter you.
Let's
And
hear
they'll
it.
say all day long we got delivery drivers coming in here,
That's
you
true.
know, and they're getting
All day, every day.
all
Yep.
day.
Yeah,
And
but
they
those
got
guys have to
trucks.
stop still to get a pass, right? They still
Yes,
have to
they do.
show.
No, you got on-base contractors after the first time they come right back on.
They get the pass, and now they're waved through, right?
Yep. I could literally be working in the HVAC, replacing all the filters. I'm an on-base contractor that's a
Yeah.
construction. Day one, I get screened. You telling me day 5 after seeing the same guy, or day 6 after seeing the same guy, be like, hey man, what's up? How you doing? He's like, hey, what's going on?
All right, so let's all agree that we just created a vulnerability
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
I agree with
100%.
that nobody
No.
else seems to be worried
No.
about.
Yeah,
I'm not worried
100%.
about
I
it at
agree.
all.
I agree.
Who cares? Eric, back in the day, you guys went like this. Fucking sticker.
You guys weren't
Come
even
on
at
in.
the gate.
Sticker. Come on in.
Before
Yep,
9/11,
exactly.
you guys weren't at most gates.
Yeah.
You know,
It was
And-
all
and
contractors,
honestly,
but before that, it
FBCon
was all
Bravo-
us.
Bravo's never
If
meant
you
to
were
be a
out there.
permanent fucking solution.
right.
Right? We're supposed to be going back down. But we
I
can't
mean, really,
because we can't maintain that level of
Yeah,
Vigilance.
I remember in the
Readiness.
90s
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
driving onto a base or a post. Nobody was there.
Yeah.
Nobody was checking anything, right?
and now they switched to even this one. There's
Digital.
signs in front of every base that says DOD holders only. So I can't
Oh, yeah.
like have a passenger that just have a driver's license anymore.
Right.
They have to have a DOD ID card.
You're right. And the other thing is, all high value targets, to the most part, are going to be in restricted areas that have tighter
True.
security anyway.
Yeah.
So the access to the base, that's a good point. High value
Yeah.
targets are going to be taken care of. So
Yeah. Right.
you'd like
right.
to think.
But Eric is reverting back to Sergeant Parade, where he's like, "Oh, the fucking paperwork on this thing's gonna drive me insane."
Everybody's dying.
Who the hell came up with this idea?
Terrorists everywhere.
And
Because
there's
it's not going to impact anybody but the cop. I'm telling you.
well, sure.
No, it's
Well,
going to be
whoever.
impact the 90% augmentees that are manning the fucking gate because you
Yeah.
guys don't have the manning to do it.
Well,
That's
that's,
who it's gonna
true
do.
because our missions change so much now with security forces.
Yeah.
They're not
Yeah.
just law enforcement.
Why is it when I went through the gate the other day and I finally got carted by a defender, right? Why does security forces always need to be augmented? How can they not predict how many people they need per base?
Oh, and they're
There's
not
a
deploying
thing
in
called
force
a
anymore.
recruiting
No.
issue.
The missions are
about the
a lot
recruiting?
different.
Well, but we've
missions are
all
different.
been augmentees at one time or another, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know,
I charge the shit out of that gun every time. Look, as
So
as
fun.
soon as I'm out there, clack.
and I do wonder about the. I mean, maybe you would be surprised at what they're wearing as they're out there checking. I mean, they got a sidearm on their hip. They got
Body armor.
whatever this
I
one
want a
right here
taser.
is.
Taser.
I'm like, really? You got two guns and this one's right
No,
here? That seems like I
that's
could
a
just
taser.
grab that one. Well, I could grab your taser right out of there.
Yep.
He's
well,
like, hey,
you
don't
could
grab
say
that.
that
I'm
to
grabbing your gun. And he's
any
like, oh,
law
don't grab
enforcement guy is going to have one on his belt. And a lot of them have both of them on their belt. So
All that stuff
Left
right
side,
here,
right
though.
side.
That seems excessive, you know.
put it on my head.
Pitbull.
Hey, we're saying this to Eric, who was carrying a wheel gun 38 back then. You know?
That's right. 6 rounds,
That's probably it.
18 total. 18 total.
What was
That's
the
right.
actual gun that you carried?
Smith and Wesson 38.
No.
Wheel guard. Yeah,
4-inch
that's what I
barrel wasn't a
started.
snub, right? It was 4
No,
inch.
it wasn't a snub. It was 4-inch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have
It was
speed
bigger.
loaders for that thing?
No,
Oh.
they weren't authorized.
Hold on.
That's right. They weren't authorized. You had a pouch
Ah.
that had. So it was really cool when we went to the frickin' Beretta.
Oh,
yeah,
God,
no
yeah. That'd be like, oh,
That was
shit,
really
look at
cool.
this. How long have you had these for?
How
And they're
many
like,
bullets
about
do you
100
have?
years.
Guys,
And they're like,
Think
what?
about it. I didn't even get to see an M203, a grenade launcher. My first grenade launcher was an M79, breech loaded,
Single by
one
itself.
shell, beep,
Yeah.
boop. That's
Not
what I
mounted
carried.
underneath. It
No.
was-
Yep.
that was
Single.
Vietnam era, man.
So
That
you
was
had a
Vietnam era.
sidearm and your freaking grenade launcher.
We had
Whoa.
corks on all
I
of our
thought you were-
bayonets, just in case.
I thought you were describing a flare. You know what I mean?
Sort of the same thing. The
Stop!
gun breech, it's breech loaded. You pop it open, stick it in. Boop. Yep, the grenade launcher. And the sights was the little freaking middle piece where you push
You had
bars
to
and you
slide
go
it up and down depending on
Yeah.
your range. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
What are those
Crazy.
fireworks where you shoot the rocket?
Oh, Roman
rocket.
candle.
Bottle rocket. All right. Yeah.
Dunk,
We
dunk.
had 3 of those in our ammo pouches, so you know. Right in the back.
Well, think about it. Those guys are
My
carrying
bacon. My bacon.
body armor with plates, right? Metal
Mhm.
plates to protect
Mhm.
them. I had a Vietnam flak vest.
No way.
Wouldn't stop shit. That was my gear.
Wow.
Carried it in
You
my
just
bag every
weighed a
day.
lot.
Flak vest and a freaking Vietnam era helmet. Wasn't even a freaking
Steel pot?
Kevlar. Yeah.
Hey, real.
That's like some prison shit where you're taping phone books to yourself and praying
Yeah.
you don't get shipped.
Didn't even have Kevlar, man. Didn't have a helmet.
No, right. You had
Hey,
the
Bravo
old
boys,
steel
put
pot
it
with
in
the
your
liner.
phone book
Right?
on.
Yep.
Bravo.
But we know Eric was he was actually in the parade uniform with his boots, blouse, and his ascot. As he-
Fucking
Couple
ascot.
times. Couple
just like we
times.
saw in Iron Eagle. He was stopping people just with force of voice. That's what he was doing.
Ass.
White laces. Now Eric was the guy on Iron and he was like, hey, get up.
Oh yeah.
Wait, let me load my gun.
I'm gonna shoot that dude. Those were the
That
good old
was funny.
days, man. Those were the
Anna,
good
if you go
old
back
days.
to that part, and there's a part where he runs by the security guard in to go see the colonel in charge, and Eric is like, "I'd have shot that guy with my 38."
Hold on.
He ran the
Movie
gate.
over.
Oh my
Problem
goodness.
solved. Right up the bullet.
Oh my god. You have a picture. If you can dig up a picture of you with the ascot, that would be fantastic. If you could do
The only
that.
one I have was when we did a Stinger. What they used to call them, the parties, not parties, but it was some kind of military ceremony.
Eric.
Stinger party.
Anna's face is like,
Stinger party. No, what they call those?
That has a whole different connotation nowadays.
Wasn't
Eric,
it called
than
like
30 years ago?
that's a swinger
a
party.
dining in? It was a dining in.
Oh.
Oh, that's
Dining
fun.
in.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I like
had the red ascot with a Stinger emblem on it right
Oh, I
there.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
good.
That's the only one I got.
Army wore the color socks of your branch, so that's
Pineapple right
so
here.
I'm with you.
Hey, wouldn't that have been a nice color?
All right, aloha, Eric. Take us home with some military history.
Hell yeah.
It's the fruit collection, baby.
I don't-
So I want to. I
don't
want
sound
to. I want
quite as proud as you're saying that. That may have a different connotation too.
I would like to highlight one day today, which is really not my history. So today is, for all of you who didn't know, March 25th was established as by Congress as National Medal of Honor Day. Just want to
Oh,
bring
yeah, I
that,
did.
bring
read
that to highlight.
Yeah,
Just want to
Yeah.
bring that to you.
very good.
So history. This is pretty cool. We like this one. So there's an island in the Pacific, only 8 square miles in area. It was considered crucial to the strategy of the Pacific campaign because capturing it would put heavy bombers within a close 750-mile strike range of mainland Japan using the island's 3 airfields. Anybody got an idea?
It's got to be Iwo, right?
It's Iwo. Yep.
Yeah.
So the task for doing this fell to the 3rd, 4th, and 5th Marine Divisions, the Army's 147th Infantry Regiment, and the Navy's 5th Fleet. The invasion fleet consisted of about 70,000 Marines, 450 naval ships of various types, as well as several thousand Navy Seabees. The Seabees were naval engineers who were experts at building roads and would be needed to reopen the island's 3 airfields.
Did they have to fight, or were they just along for the ride?
No, they were fighting. They fought.
Whoa.
Yep. So over the course of the battle, the Marines suffered more than 25,000 casualties, including nearly 7,000 deaths. The casualty rate was so high that the regiment landed a month later to help with mopping up operations.
Oh, man.
The island was declared safe on March 25th. That's why I wanted to bring that to your attention.
Wow.
So, yeah, amazing. If you ever get a chance to take a look at some of the photographs of this place,
Sure.
amazing. So that's my history tonight. Iwo Jima, the Battle of, that's, by the way, 80 years ago.
Wow.
This occurred.
It's been that long? Wow.
And there's still nothing
I
on
was
the island
alive during then.
with the exception of an airfield and a small, very small museum that you can go to.
It's still there?
Yeah. It's
Oh,
you have to
wow.
have a scheduled flight to get in. You can't just visit the island. It's got to be
Oh,
scheduled.
really? Who owns it? Japan?
Good question. I don't know.
Yeah.
Scratch. Don't you scratch.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're scratching the surface on it. You're
Come
not
on.
supposed to do
So
that.
Not
interesting.
too deep.
Marty, we're going to
And
need
he's-
a sponsored trip to this.
Oh, wouldn't
Yeah.
it
Oh,
be
yeah,
cool?
sure.
That'd be so cool. And by the way, did you
Sponsored
guys
by
know that
Huel.
Abraham Lincoln was the first Medal of Honor recipient?
Who?
Abraham Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln was the first Medal of Honor recipient?
Yeah, if I read that correctly, he was.
Well, did you read that correctly?
Let's see.
Maybe.
I think I did. It said, remember as
That-
high as four.
I think Iwo was like, so Band of Brothers is amazing, and you got attached to that group.
Right.
But the Pacific was so hard to watch, just because
I agree.
the attrition was crazy.
I agree.
But that scene, there's one scene where the guys
Yep. I know.
come back and they're just like covered in just mud and just
They're like
blood
zombies
and like
coming back.
everything.
Yeah.
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 And then there's those Seabees sitting on the shoreline building the roads, and they're like, "Hey
Mhm.
man, you got any like bayonets or anything? Any swag?" Basically, the
Yeah.
guys are like, "Fuck you, go get it." Like
It's
Crazy.
I agree
No.
with you. I wanted to like the Pacific more, and it was hard to. There was no continuity like there was with Band of Brothers.
well, they all died, unfortunately.
Well, yeah,
right?
right,
You're
right. You're right. Yeah. And
I was
got
wrong. It
4
wasn't
dudes.
Abraham Lincoln.
Oh,
It was
Oh.
Private Jacob Perrott. Believe it or not, his name's really close to mine.
From Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Perrott. Jacob.
Oh, so
Private.
close.
oh, that is correct. That is
Yeah,
close.
Yeah.
For his part in the great locomotive chase that ended just outside of Chattanooga. So he was your first Medal of Honor
So
recipient.
where did Abraham Lincoln come from?
I read it in
Abraham
when I was
Lincoln
looking up the
awarded
day.
it to him.
Maybe that was it.
Oh,
Yeah.
good Ben.
Well, I
Yeah,
did say I
good
was reading it correctly.
Yeah, I like
You're
that.
scratching your own surface.
We
Yeah,
need
right,
to
I gotta cut that shit out.
we need to do a day on history on the Great Battle of the Railroad Attack or whatever that
The
was.
locomotive chase
Yeah.
outside of
Close
Chattanooga.
Well, good one, Eric. Iwo
you know.
should not be forgotten. I
No,
didn't know it was
no doubt.
concluded. It was how long was the op? It was
February-
3 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that.
It went from February 19th, 1945 to March 26th.
Damn, a month long. Okay.
1945. It wasn't supposed to
Yeah.
last that long. They thought they
Well,
were going to
sure.
clear it in a
About
week.
this. We talked about this a month ago.
Don't-
Like
I
for
know.
real.
don't-
Stop it. Anna, stop it.
But not as
Stop
far
it.
as our history goes.
Oh.
Did we talk about something else?
No, you did. You did do a history on the start of.
Oh, I'm
Started
sorry.
with
Oh.
you.
February 19th and then the ending.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly. Yeah,
I thought I was
it's
like,
still
wait a minute, we
awesome. I
about
still love
this.
it.
It was
Anna
good,
was
though.
right.
No, I think
And
it's
I
awesome
was thinking it,
in a
but
month.
he was rolling. I didn't want to. I
Yeah.
didn't want to interrupt.
I
him.
think
That
it's
makes-
awesome.
Hey, it started on February 19th, but it ended March 26th.
Yeah,
And he
that's
did
cool.
bring up National Medal of Honor Day
Medal of
and
Honor
that
Day.
kind of stuff. That was cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
Wanted to
That's good.
bring attention to that. By the way, new Medal of Honor museum, for those of you who don't know it.
That's
just
right.
opened
They
in
just made it. Yeah,
Arlington, Texas.
yeah.
Really?
They did
heard about
a
that.
big show on it where there's a guy sitting in a chair and it's virtual, and you can ask it a question, and the actual recipient of the Medal of Honor will talk back to you and answer your question.
That's.
I mean, the question has to be like,
Crazy.
what year did you receive the Medal of Honor?
It
And
has
they'll
to be
go,
what's written already. Right?
Correct.
It's like,
but it's
hey, what do you
still
think of
very
this
cool
DEI stuff?
That is
guy?
cool.
to talk to the actual recipient of the Medal of Honor, which is
Yeah,
That's
Let me
That's
see a picture of the floozy you carried with you.
that's pretty cool.
It's like you should have seen what we did off base. And we're like, oh yeah, let's talk
The
about
word
that.
movie.
I don't know. It seems more
It's like
appropriate
that-
than
Did you learn
straight
it today?
skank or hussy. Like it's these skanks.
That's true.
Yeah.
Good on Eric, as always. Now we'll move on to something non-Iwo Jima next time.
I
Lame.
got you. Gotcha.
Lame.
That's funny.
We'll talk
Um,
about
Call. Oh,
Weird.
no, the bus just ran me over. See the track mark across my chest?
No,
I know.
sorry.
See,
Sorry.
well,
and for all the listeners who've made it this
Right.
long, this is why we don't submit our own articles.
yeah, that's true. Look, you done that one.
Yeah, you did it. Try
Well,
again.
as funny as that would have been to stop him cold, if he had another one loaded, it would have been great. But
I didn't stop him cold.
no. Honestly,
you did
great
good.
restraint.
Yeah.
But she was
So
like,
which was better, February 19th or March 26th?
No, actually,
Well,
both of them were really good.
yeah.
I like them both equally as well. So
Thank
well
you, guys.
done. Well done, Eric.
No, February is bullshit. Today was good. I don't play favorite. I'll totally acknowledge which was my favorite.
I like it.
If we had some recurring listeners and they would be like, hey, this guy, he did this one already. That would be
Man, none of them make it
wonderful.
this long.
No,
much
they
for a
never
history
make it to
guy.
history.
Yeah.
Just for the record, we should do an Arlington road trip then. It's only 700 miles. That's it.
I would love to see that place, man. I think
Yeah,
that'd be
that would be
awesome.
cool.
Wow. Well,
Marty's
You
terrified.
motherfuckers ride your bikes. I'm driving my truck.
Deal, dude. You could chase it.
Hell
Marty
yeah.
and I can iron butt it.
that
Let's
would
go.
be a trip. Yeah, we could smoke in a bandit. You coming, Anna?
Hell yeah.
You can bring Johnny.
Bring your
I don't
Yeah.
know how to. I don't know how to ride a bike.
drive.
We could drive.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm
Okay.
doing. I'm not riding. I'm driving.
Yeah,
All
and
right,
we could
you're gonna
look at
need
all
a
the places
passenger
we could-
princess.
We look at all the historical places we could stop at on the way there.
See, Johnny and
Yeah.
Johnny
That would be
and
fun.
I
We
would
could go-
ride. You guys walk. You guys ride your bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
We
I'm
can
cool.
go to
down.
the Kapulan Monument. It's a volcano outside
Oh.
of Raton.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, Kapulan. Kapulan.
Hey, we literally just
I think
discussed
it'd be
the
I-80 out there, right?
the location of that Japanese internment camp, southeastern Colorado.
Hey, yeah, man.
You know,
There's one
speaking of
stop.
that, we could
Late for
actually.
Changeover is on a tour.
There are
the
enough
road.
historical places.
On the
We go to-
road.
We go to Sand Creek, right? We
Hell
go to Sand
yes,
Creek.
man.
Right. There's
Ludlow
a lot
Massacre.
of yeah. There's a lot of historical places here just in Colorado. I
I'm
wouldn't
in.
be-
I'm
It's the
retired.
federal
Let's go.
government massacring workers on strike though for Ludlow, so maybe not that.
Well, maybe not that one.
Yeah.
But all right,
not
let's call it an episode, shall we? On behalf of all of us here, I'd like to thank you for listening today. Wait till you hear what I have in store for you guys.
Yay.
Please like, share, and subscribe, and let us know how we did in the comments. And make sure next week that you are not.
That's
Oh,
That was fun.
so horrible.
Let me hear that again. Let's hear it again.
Oh,
That
It
was
sounds
Eric
like
going.
Alex.
Oh.
He's
It
embarrassed
comes with
before he
talent.
finishes.
gotta
That's
put
not good.
You gotta put the in it.
It's not good. Oh man.
Yep.
Well, as always, thanks for showing up. Good to see you all and everyone who's watching and listening. Thanks for listening and watching, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah. Eric, are those matching bottoms? Do you have matching bottoms today?
No.
He's bottomless right now.
Bottomless. Okay.
You're out of control.
No fun.
Slack for business, my friend.
I got
If
my
you'd have-
golf shorts on, baby.
If you'd have took that late for changeover hat and then we're like, now we're talking. Now we're
Just
talking.
cover it.
Oh no.
Thanks, you guys. We'll see you next week.
Have a good one.